Sunday, partly sunny, a slight chance of showers, high of 57. Monday, 30% chance of showers. Brought to you by Investment Property Experts, Phoenix, Arizona's only turnkey real estate investment solution. I'm meteorologist John Weatherby.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and we're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park. It is raining here in Phoenix and Scottsdale and this entire region, and up north we're getting some snow, which is much needed. And if you are a fan of skiing, which I was back when my kids were younger, get in the car and go up to the White Mountains, go up to Flag. It is supposed to be gorgeous. Hopefully you can make it through the roads. But we don't get weather like this very often, and it's time to pause and enjoy a little bit of rain and a little bit of weather. Also, today is a very monumental day in American history. Today is where we had the peaceful transfer of power. Outgoing President Barack Obama is outgoing, and we have a new president, our 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. So interesting news, interesting times, and we are all hopeful in the aging world that we are going to see some new policy and new things happen for the older adult population. If you're just tuning into our show's name is Health Futures. And yes, we're right here on Money Radio. Nice play on word, Health Futures. And our tagline is taking stock in you. And the purpose of our show is really how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life. And if you're new to our show and you've not heard of us before, go out to our website at cypresshomecare.com. Click on the radio button. You'll hear about 150 to 160 episodes or shows that we've been bringing you since 2013. We're in our fourth year. I'm losing track of dates, but we're in our fourth year here, and what makes our show really special is not so much what I bring to the listening audience, it's the guests I bring. And today's no different. Today, I'm very happy, and it's my pleasure to introduce Scott Hawthornthwaite. He is the Care Coordinator Director over the Area Agency on Aging, Region 1. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for having me.
You know, Scott, I've been in the industry now I'm starting my 14th year, and I think you and I probably got to know one another 14 years ago. You're kind of I'm not going to say an old-timer, but you're a seasoned veteran. How many years have you been in this space?
I'm in my 35th year working in long-term care.
Long-term care?
Yes, as a social worker.
Wow. And I'll tell you what, change is something that has been happening rather rapidly. And I would have to say, with this baby boomer group that is turning 65 at a clip of 10,000 a day.
Yes.
And for our listening audience, those baby boomers are the ones that were born from 1946 to 1964. 10,000 a day. We're only 5 years into it. We got 13 more years.
10,000 a day, turning 65, signing up for Medicare.
Signing up for Medicare. Yes. And 65 is now the former 45. We talked about that.
Yes.
You know, how we used to look at 55 being really old or 65 being really old. It's not so old anymore. And but we have an aging demographic, and I've shared this on our show before, and this is a statistic that was given by Dr. Ken Dykewald. He's the author of Age Wave and a very well-renowned speaker on aging, that two-thirds of our world's population that has ever lived to the age of 65 walking the earth is alive today. So, I mean, the figures are daunting, and we need to come up with solutions. Last week, if you missed our show, we were pleased to have Representative Heather Carter here in our studio. We had Steve Jennings, the Associate Director from AARP, and we had John Scott Williams from Friendship Village on the show, talking about aging and talking about a bill that they're sponsoring, AARP sponsoring, and that Representative Heather Carter is supporting tax credits for our older adult population, namely for the family caregivers. And I think policy like that and innovations is going to be the solution to our situation going forward.
I would agree.
I said John Scott Williams. He is with Fellowship Square in Mesa, Arizona. So I stand corrected. But Scott, welcome to the show. And
Thanks,
the show goes really fast, so we're probably already almost done our first segment. But you work with Area Agency on Aging Region 1. Tell us a little bit about Area Agency and what services that you guys provide.
Well, sure. We're the Area Agency on Aging Region 1. We're the one for Maricopa County, and we're one of over 600 area agencies nationally. They were set up through the Older Americans Act in 1973. So we're the one for Maricopa County, and there's 8 in Arizona, including an intertribal area agency on aging.
Maricopa County, roughly, 4.3 million people live there?
Yes, and it's the size of New Jersey.
Size of New Jersey.
Which my case managers remind me as they go from one end to the other.
So of the 8 area agencies that are here in our state, the 7 added up aren't even close to the size
That's
of
correct.
Region 1.
Almost 60% of the people over 60 in Arizona live in Maricopa County.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's an incredible service that you provide, and throughout our show today we're going to talk about some of the services that you provide. But I want to get it out there right now. If you want to learn a little bit about what these guys do, go to AAAPHX.org or call 602-264-4357. They have a 24-hour senior helpline. And they answer the phone.
It's 24 hours a day. It's bilingual English-Spanish, and it's staffed by professional social workers. It's more than just giving out a number or a resource. It's talking with the person, trying to match them up with the service or the person that can help them the best. If we don't know who can help you, we know who can. So please call on us. We received over 40,000 calls to the Senior Helpline last year.
40,000 calls. Yes. Wow. And I'm out on your website, and it's very easy to navigate. Yes. Icons, easy to find, solutions that are out there. So, tell me a little bit about some of the services that you have. And obviously my show is really geared towards older adults. Yes. So, mainly Area Agency on Aging is an older adult service provider here in our social service provider in our state.
We do serve some younger adults with long-term care needs, but primarily our clients are 60 and over, which is considered an older adult by the Older Americans Act. Again, that was legislation in the 1960s. They may have to revisit what's an older adult down the road, as 60, in my own personal opinion, may not be an older adult.
Right. No, I couldn't agree with you more. And I mean, we've talked about it here on our show here, and the concept of 65 being retirement is and being Medicare certified and Social Security benefits is something that we probably need to revisit because many 65-year-olds are still working today.
Yes. So I'll highlight a few of our 50 programs, just a few that are the most popular, might be the most interesting to the audience.
Sure.
First, to remember, the central entry point for almost all of our services is through the 24-hour Senior Helpline. That's the first place to start. They can connect you to either community resources, information on private pay resources, or about almost any question you may have about services. Or more importantly, they're able to arrange a case manager to assess your situation. Our SAIL program, Senior Adult Independent Living, is one of our largest programs, and that provides non-medical home and community-based services to frail, homebound adults who, the most part, live alone and are at the federal poverty level. So case managers go out and do a home visit at no cost. They assess the clients for not only the service they requested, but it's a full comprehensive assessment to see how we can develop a care plan to plug in some of the gaps that the client may have. In the SAIL program, they do home-delivered meals, case management, personal care services, nursing, adult day health care. and many other services, all with the goal to provide intermittent services for an elderly person to remain in their own home as long as possible.
And I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Case managers,
yes,
they are assigned to somebody that calls.
Yes.
They do this on the phone, or they physically go out and visit?
Both.
They do both.
They first have an assessment by the Senior Helpline and then assigned to a case manager who will go out and assess you in your own home.
Interesting.
Yes.
You're listening to Health Futures. It's hard to believe we're down our first segment. Again, Scott talked about the helpline. That's 602-264-4357. Again, 602-264-4357. That's the entry into getting started with Area Agency on Aging.
That's correct.
You're listening to Health Futures. I'm your host. I've got Scott Hawthornthwaite in the studio from Area Agency on Aging. He's the Director of Care Coordination. We will be right back.
Hi, this is Don McDonald. I'm confident you're smart enough to know that having more money in retirement is better than having less. So when are you going to finally realize that the way you've been investing for retirement isn't working as well as it should? Isn't it time you started investing based on solid science rather than the sales-driven, outdated, and discredited methods of the past? Discover the science of retirement investing at my first Phoenix class in ages on Thursday, January 26th in Mesa. Get your tickets now at TalkingRealMoney.com. Learn why active portfolio management has failed investors miserably and how you can build your own portfolio without brokerage commissions, sales loads, or ridiculous fees. At the Science of Retirement Investing, you'll learn why no one can predict the financial future or pick the best stocks accurately and consistently. Learn which asset classes have an almost 100-year track record of higher returns, and I'll show you unique ways to create a lifelong income without buying pricey annuities. There are a very limited number of discounted presale tickets available right now at TalkingRealMoney.com. That's TalkingRealMoney.com.
If you've ever thought about investing in real estate, but you haven't because you just aren't interested in the typical hassles and headaches of real estate, then don't touch that dial. For over a decade, Investment Property Experts has been helping investors take advantage of the growing Metro Phoenix real estate market through a unique offering of turnkey real estate investment services. Investment Property Experts eliminates the hassles and headaches by providing a full inventory of single-family homes that are fully renovated and occupied with tenants. IPX manages the property for you during the time you own it, and when the time comes, they can help you get it back on the market and facilitate the sale, all at no additional cost to you. And if you'd rather not purchase and own investment properties, Investment Property Experts offers a 9% return through deed of trust investment programs. Real estate market conditions in Phoenix have never been better. And with Investment Property Experts on your side, you'll be able to diversify into profitable real estate investments right from day one. Investment Property Experts, your true one-stop shop for real estate investing success. Get started by visiting azipx.com.
Check out A&D Barbershop and pamper your face with the Royal Hot Towel Shave. Visit adbarbershop.com or call 602-265-1556. Open 7 days a week.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth. And if you're just tuning in, I've got Scott Hawthornthwaite. He's the Director of Care Coordination from Area Agency on Aging from Region 1 in the studio. As I said, we're on our second segment. If you missed the first one, go up to our website at cypresshomecare.com. And you can catch that one and catch about 150 or so others that we've been bringing to you for the last 4 years. You know, Scott, typically at this time in our segment, I'd like to have our listening audience learn a little bit about you. And I have during our break, and I would love for you just to take a minute. Just tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, what do you do, what are you passionate about? I think you're passionate about older adults. I see that. That's for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I grew up in Phoenix. I went to Brophy and to ASU, School of Social Work. After that, I went to Honduras in Central America and was a Peace Corps volunteer for 2.5 years, where I learned a lot about culture, a lot about myself and our own culture, and also picked up the ability to speak Spanish, which has helped me a lot.
Especially in social work. Absolutely.
Yes. I had a great relationship with my grandparents growing up. I always seemed to relate well to older folks. And when it came time to pick a specialty in social work, I chose geriatrics and did my field placement in a skilled nursing facility. I then started as a case manager in the SAIL program, which I still get to work with today, 30 years later.
Wow.
It's been a good ride, a very good evolution.
The skilled nursing facility, is it still around?
It's not. It closed. It was in Youngtown, Arizona.
There you go.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, but what a great way to learn about the geriatrics and social work.
It was, and it continues to.
And you know what, I got to tell you, I mean, I do this, and people ask me about what I do. It's a labor of love. I mean, it really is. I mean, helping our older adult population live their life to the fullest.
Yes.
And access, I mean, you know, I like to consider myself at Cypress HomeCare Solutions more of a Sherpa, a navigator, but truly, Area Agency on Aging is a navigator for older adults. And I gave out that number before. I want to give it again because it's so important to know this. 602-264-4357. And you got this incredible guide that I know that I've used in the past, giving it to families, and it's called the Elder Resource Guide of Maricopa County. And you shared a little tidbit with me. The website, AAAPHX.org. You can go out there and you can request, and I'm looking at it right now. It says order yours today, and you can get it mailed to you.
Yes.
So you don't need to go down there. You can fill out this thing real quick, and it's got incredible information. If you want to talk to somebody,
absolutely,
you guys are there to talk to them.
Yes, the Elder Resource Guide is produced every year, so all of the information is updated, the numbers work, etc. It's both in English and Spanish, and you can get one for free if you go to our website and take just a brief needs assessment survey. They'll send one right out to you at no cost. You can also contact us through the website through the Contact Us segment. We get several emails from people. Sometimes the only time they have free might be off hours is they'll send us an email requesting assistance on a support group or a service, and we answer them the next day.
Here's a quick question for you. So what would you say percentage of the phone calls you get? Are you getting the calls from the individuals themselves that are needing assistance, or is it the adult children or other family members?
Probably about half.
About half.
We also get calls from social workers from home care agencies who have gone out post-hospitalization and then see that the clients need more help. Sometimes hospice will call us for a supplemental service to what they provide as well. But it's about half.
That's interesting because, you know, for us, typically I never really have the client actually call us because they never think they need care.
Right.
You know, it's usually the trusted advisor or the adult child or the other family member that, you know, has seen their loved one and had that, as I like to say, that oh crap moment.
Yes.
You know, how can mom stay home alone or dad or this person do this alone?
Usually after the holidays, we get a few more referrals from family members who come in to visit, who are told everything's going fine by phone. And when they arrive here, they see that there's a need for some assistance. So we get calls then.
And it's amazing how much can happen in just a matter of days or weeks. And you talk about the holidays. I talk about it here on the show.
Yes.
You know, the big time. And living here in Phoenix has got its pluses. And, yes, it is raining out right now. But we have 300 days a year of sunshine. Yes. And the weather is outstanding here. But it's a great destination to have family get-togethers, especially around Easter or Passover or Thanksgiving. And that 7-month period, you can see a lot of change.
Yes.
And, you know, if you are listening in today and you've seen that change and you've been with loved ones, definitely reach out to Area Agency on Aging. And one of the things that they can do for you, if you were in Michigan or if you were in Maine or if you were in Florida, call them and they will direct you to the right area agency in that area.
Yes, to any area agency in the United States will connect you. And most do the same types of intake and referral and services that we do.
Real quick, you are funded by the Older Americas Act of 1972-73.
Yes. Actually, it was passed in 1965 along with Medicare and Medicaid, signed by President Johnson. And then in 1973, it was amended, which started the area agencies.
Got it. So that is only one source of the finances that you are able to get. The other source is through the state, correct?
That's correct. We receive funding through the state, including some social service block grant monies. Due to sequestration and other cuts, in the last 7 years, we've lost over $1 million at the agency, if you can imagine.
I got chills. It's devastating. And I know this firsthand, having talked to some of your people, and having once been a provider for you guys.
Yes.
It's hard because the numbers that need service continue to rise.
That's right. We're a growing county and an aging culture.
Yeah.
And so the money doesn't even keep up with the numbers.
And you've seen $1 million in cuts, so
yes.
you have no other choice than to reduce the programming that you have.
Yes,
and
luckily,
and not be able to serve as many people.
That's correct. Fortunately, we haven't had to take service away from people, but the waiting list has certainly grown as people call in for service. They're assessed as needing the service functionally. There's no other adult who can help them in the home, and they can't private pay for the service. So when we say there's a waiting list of 1,200 people waiting, they've all been vetted, so to speak. There is no other source available for these folks.
I'm afraid to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's the average wait?
Boy, it really depends. About a year.
About a year.
Yes.
So, you've been vetted out. You need services. And then you got to wait a year just to be able to get some help.
In the meantime, if people are able to private pay, although home care can be expensive for some folks, sometimes family can pay. We do have a few volunteer groups, kind of a patchwork system that maybe can do a little bit of grocery shopping, but it's difficult to have a volunteer do personal care and those types of things.
And it takes a village. We do have some other social service organizations that do volunteer work.
Yes.
I serve on the board for Duet.
Yes, Duet's a wonderful agency.
A wonderful group, and we get caring corps up
yes.
in North Scottsdale, Cave Creek, and Benavilla.
Yes.
So we do have other partners, and I know that Area Agency on Aging works closely with them. So
we do.
So we can also use those services, if you would, point some people in those directions to maybe get some assistance.
Absolutely.
And, I want to make this appeal, and, you have not asked me to do this, but, I know that you guys do, besides take block grants and get money from the state, you do take private donations and private donations, and I'm on Money Radio, so we have people that are listening that,
yes.
Have portfolios and are do-gooders in our society. Maybe that's the wrong vernacular used, but they do good in the community, and this part of our community, our older adult population, needs some assistance. So I'm making the assumption that if they go to the website, there's a donate page there.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
so if you go to AAAPHX.org, there's a donate page there, and I encourage you to certainly take a look into it. You were pointing to something. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry, but the Arizona Charitable Tax Credit has been extended to April 15th. So
there you go, tax credit.
A single person can get a $400, an individual filer, or $800 for a married couple. And that's an actual credit, not a deduction.
Well, it's interesting. There's a support tab on your website. Of course, it's green, and it's got the money sign.
That's a good thing.
So, that's one of the places to go to. Scott, I do want to get into all the programming, and I'm looking at our engineer, and he's telling me we're getting close to our halftime break. So, I mean, we really plow through a lot of stuff, so we've set the table for a second half to really talk about the programming that Area Agency on Aging has. 30 years in the agency, you've seen a lot of change, not just in the programming, but the people that are receiving the care. And you see how daunting it is, how fast people are aging, and how complicated some of their cases are and their situations are. When I first started, for you to be able to qualify for Medicaid, it was a 3-year look back. And just quickly after I got started, went to 5.
5 years now for long-term care.
Exactly.
Medicaid, yes.
And the hard thing is that a lot of these people that need the care, they can't wait 5 years. And, they may not have the money. So, we have to figure out as a village to come up with a solution.
Correct. And we work with people through that process as well.
Well, we are up against a break here. You're listening to Health Futures. It's halftime here. I've got Scott Hawthornthwaite here. We will be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Special report, Inauguration 2017. Dozens of protesters have been arrested in Washington, D.C., and some demonstrators have been clashing with police in the downtown area as Donald Trump takes office as the 45th President of the United States. Correspondent Jim Roop reports live from the nation's capital. Jim?
And it's a mix of calm and chaos, really. Calm, the police officers in their riot gear in a skirmish line from building to building across 12th Street, every now and again trying to push people back from the intersection of K and 12th. They've used water cannons. We've heard several explosions of percussion grenades and tear gas. The protesters standing face to face with police officers as they yell. That's where the chaos comes in, and then they try to push the protesters back. But all seems to be fairly calm right now. There have been over 95 arrests here so far.
All right. Thank you, Jim. President Trump has attended an inaugural lunch today, hosted by congressional leaders, and will watch the parade soon. I'm Ann Cates.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a SelectQuote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-445-6363. That's 1-800-445-6363. 1-800-445-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Some people lost money yesterday.
Did you?
Some made money.
Did you?
Before you hit the sack, ask yourself, what did your money do for you? Then listen to Money Radio tomorrow.
High returns on your investments? Who wouldn't want that? This is Sinclair No, with a strategy that could increase your overall return on your investment portfolio. It's called Decadian. The Decadian investment methodology encompasses a 10-year goal for financial freedom, plus something that's really missing today, straight talk, so you know you have a financial advisor you can trust. Great investment recommendations that far exceed what your institutional markets offer. All this wrapped with performance guarantees. Only those who know what they can do will guarantee what they can do. Decadian. Decadian.com. Decadian. That's Decadian.com. Call 844-332-2342. 844-332-2342. Here for you when you need it most. Decadian.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief. The best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Beauty Rest Black is more than a mattress. It's a haven for deep, restorative sleep. With Beauty Rest Black, sleep truly is the ultimate luxury. Tonight, dream in black.
I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now. Cadillac is offering an alternative to car ownership with a new service called Book. It's a subscription program that will give drivers access to the entire Cadillac lineup for a $1,500 a month fee. Car requests are made via a smartphone app and delivered to the customer by a concierge service. Drivers can use the vehicles as much as they want as long as they keep paying the monthly fee. Book by Cadillac will launch in the New York metro area with other cities to follow. Procter & Gamble shares are up more than 2.5% today. The consumer products company reported better than expected sales for its latest quarter and gave a more upbeat outlook for sales growth this year. Profit rose from the year earlier quarter and came in just above analyst expectations. The broader market remains higher, with the Dow Industrials ahead 51 points. The Nasdaq Composite is up 9. The S&P 500 is up 3 points. That's Your Money Now.
For me, it was the big S-Class from the 90s. Beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SE was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone remembers the first time they saw one, and the day they began to long for a Mercedes-Benz of their own. Well, that day may be a lot closer than you think. With a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you can experience the luxury, the unparalleled safety, the performance, and the style Mercedes-Benz is famous for at a price you can afford. Beautiful SUVs, sedans, coupes, and convertibles that are factory certified and covered by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 3 years, so you can drive without a worry for as far as you like. And during the certified pre-owned sales event going on now through February 28th, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth. We're on segment number 3. We're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park on January 20th, the big day in American history, a big day in American politics, the peaceful transfer of power. Donald J. Trump is now our 45th president, and I am one of those guys that am a glass half full kind of guy, and I'm optimistic about our future, and certainly optimistic about our future as it relates to caring for our older adults. And we need a village. And, you know, I'm looking to our listening audience, and this gentleman that's in the room with me, he's part of that village. I've got Scott Hawthornthwaite. He's the Director of Care Coordination for Area Agency on Aging, Region 1, and they do some incredible work in terms of working with our older adult population. And if you're just tuning in today, our show is called Health Futures because it is a show about how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life. You can go to our website at cypresshomecare.com, click on the radio button, learn a little bit more about Cypress, and learn a lot more about Health Futures, and listen to a couple of the other shows that we have up there. So I want to turn the mic back to you, Scott, because, you know, we just scratched the surface as it relates to the programming at Area Agency on Aging. And I want to, make sure our listening audience knows that the website has it all. And if you go to AAAPHX.org, you can learn a lot more, or call their 24-hour senior helpline, and that is 602-264-4357. So please, I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and I want you to, walk us through, chaperone us through some of the programming that is offered by Area Agency on Aging.
One of the very popular programs we have is our Family Caregiver Support Program. The Older Americans Act that we spoke about previously was reauthorized in the year 2000 to include the Family Caregiver Support Program. All of us who have worked in aging or have been a caregiver or known a caregiver, we thought, wow, it's about time. The first new national program to support family caregivers. We actually saw them on the floor of Congress debating caregiver issues and stress. And I think, just personally, I think it's because a lot of them are dealing with aging relatives and get calls from constituents about just the toll caregiving can take on family members. So our Family Caregiver Support Program, it's been around now for about 7 years or so. And again, calls come into our 24-hour senior helpline. They can come from the client themselves, a concerned family member, a physician, whomever, to make a referral. One of our care coordinators will come out within a week in your home with no fee, of course, for the assessment to talk to you about the program or perhaps other things we can do to assist you in caring for your loved one. The requirements for the program are very simple. It's that you're caring for a loved one 60 years of age or older, or any age person who has a diagnosis of dementia. It's for people who are informal caregivers, and we say that only in the fact that we mean they're not being paid to be a caregiver. Usually it's a family member. It doesn't have to be a family member through marriage or blood. It can be a partner. It can be a long friend, a good neighbor. We come out and we do an assessment, both the care receiver and the caregiver. We have two clients when we're dealing with the family. We have the end receiver, and then we have the working caregiver or the caregiver, usually a person middle-aged or so. A lot of folks are looking for respite care. And respite's a word we don't hear too much outside of the business, but it's just a short break of an interval of rest or relaxation. Family caregivers, oftentimes their health is at risk, not only from the stress of the 24-hour care, but the inability to even take care of themselves, do their own well checkups.
You know, I want to just share, just pipe in real quickly. John Scott Williams from Fellowship Square, and as he says, it's in Mesa. It's where God kisses the valley. Hello, good morning. He said and gave a statistic, 63% of our older adults, 65 and older, caring for one another. The caregiver predeceases the care recipient because of the emotional and physical stress.
Yeah, it's true.
It's unbelievable what they go through, and respite is something that's so important.
It is. We're working with about 500 clients currently. Again, calls come in through the helpline. We go out anywhere in Maricopa County within a week, and we offer respite care or a brief interval of rest to caregivers. And we do that 3 different ways. One is through a home care agency model, where people can typically get 8 hours a week, not to take the place of the caregiver, obviously just care 8 hours a week,
right.
But it's enough for the person to do whatever they need to recharge, to relax. Some of our caregivers even sleep during that time because they're caring for a person with dementia who's active at night. So whatever it is that charges you as a caregiver, we want you to know where you've left your loved one in good hands, with a licensed home care agency, with a person who's had a background check and well known to our agency, so that you can go and do your own thing.
Nice.
And that's through an agency, a home care agency. And
if I can say,
yes.
And we used to be a provider
yes.
of those services, it's an employer-based agency
yes.
that their caregivers, like you said, are background checked, they're trained,
and
there's care coordination and everything that
yes,
go along with that.
Supervised, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Another model we have that works really well, especially when the care receiver has dementia, or if the family needs a schedule that isn't typical, or they live in a very rural area, is our Friends and Neighbors program. It's a consumer-directed care program where the family caregiver can choose their own respite worker, perhaps a neighbor, a friend, someone from church. They would pay them 8 hours a week, $10 an hour. Of course, there's timesheets and receipts and things whenever you send someone money, but we teach them how to do that.
Right.
You submit it to us and we reimburse you. So the caregiver finds their own worker, pays them, submits a timesheet, and the area agency reimburses you, the caregiver.
Nice.
Consumer-directed care, it works so well when it's important that that the care receiver knows the worker.
And you know, I always subscribe to that. And yes. I know that Access has tried to do that with the MCOs.
Yes.
And I'm not sure many of them are really doing much of that. But it sounds like Area Agency is doing a lot more of that. And certainly one of the things I advocate here on the show, and I do in my business day to day, if you can find a family member or friend care for you initially, there's no better solution. But when you can't, then that's when we encourage you to call Cypress Home Care Solutions or
Absolutely.
another reputable company that can help you and assist you.
That's right.
I love the fact that you do that. Do you do much of that right now?
It's about a third choose
Nice.
the Friends and Neighbors model, a third choose the agency model, and then another third choose adult day health care as respite.
Okay.
Adult day health care is similar to a senior center. It's in the community. They do recreation and socialization, but a senior center is a very busy place. It's a place where you have to be somewhat independent in your activities. There's a big need for people who also need to have recreation and socialization, but they wouldn't be able to manage in a senior center.
Right.
They need more staff to participant ratio.
And how many of these are around Maricopa
There's
County?
about 14 that we contract with in
Okay.
Maricopa County. We call it the best kept secret in long-term care.
I think it's great.
People don't know a lot about it. There's an RN there. They're medically managed, and they're a secure setting.
With nearly a third of our population 65 and older living home alone, it's a great way to get people out and engaged.
Right. Sometimes we'll start at a senior center first,
Right.
trying to the least restrictive. Some people can manage at a senior center. But when you're dealing with dementia, other complex medical issues, it's much better to be in a supervised medical setting. Caregivers tell us they relax even more because they know their loved one's totally safe. They're there with a nurse who has an order from the physician.
I love it.
There's CNAs. They come home. They've had activities, a lunch. They've had a bath. And they get to come home and share something from their day as well.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I think you're using Foundation for Senior Living?
Yes,
a couple
there's
of
several,
those.
yes.
Yep.
Also Benavia,
Benavia.
Arbor Rose, Oakwood in the East Valley, John C. Lincoln in Sunny Slope.
I love it.
Yes. If you don't know, people listening about adult day health care centers, please find out. There's descriptions on the website and try to find one near you.
I love it. Again, it's finding resources to address that respite for the family member.
It is.
So that they can get the relief and they know their loved ones got the care.
That's it. We also help people explain about hospice. We help people with some incontinence supplies. We have support groups for family caregivers with professional facilitators countywide. We do a lot of sponsorship through the Alzheimer's Association. We work closely with them. We're a sponsor of their educational conference coming up in April. And they also have a wide array of educational and support groups for people dealing with dementia. There's a lot of good help out there. People have to know we're talking about them and how to access the information.
And it's making that first step.
It is.
Making the phone call or going to the website. And, I think so many out there think they're doing this alone. And they're all alone, and nobody could really understand what they're going through.
Whenever I speak to a group, people come up and there's a line form to want to tell the story about their caregiving, and usually it's they did it totally alone.
And then the one last thing before James sends us into a commercial. You mentioned before the end of his last segment, you can help with application for Medicaid access, too.
We can, as part of our case management.
I love that.
Yes.
I absolutely love that.
And not so much just the application, but explaining how the process works. There's a lot of misinformation in the community.
A lot of misinformation. Yes. Well, Scott, we're up against a break. We're down 3. We got one more to go. You're listening to Health Futures. We will be right back.
Right after business for breakfast, right after the news on Money Radio, tune in Mastering Money with wealth manager Steve Jurich and the doctors Sinclair No. Learn about cutting-edge retirement investment strategies, Social Security optimizing, and RMD strategies. Guests on Mastering Money have included Steve Forbes, Larry Kudlow, and the one and only John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard. Join the A-Team, Steve and Sinclair, mornings Monday through Friday at 8. And now, download the Mastering Money app for your Apple, Android, and Windows devices. The Best After 50 Expo in the East Valley is coming soon. The Area Agency on Aging presents the 29th annual Mesa Love and Life After 50 Expo. Over 70 exhibitors will be featured in a fun and informational day on Wednesday, January 25th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Mesa Convention Center. If you're over 50, this is the premier event you don't want to miss. The day's events and parking are free and include entertainment by the popular Duttons. The Miss Senior Arizona Ladies will greet you at the door. Hourly drawings will be held for door prizes, including $100 cash at 10, 11, and 12. Come see what new products and services are available for seniors in the East Valley. Bring your friends and family January 25th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Mesa Convention Center. Sponsors include the Area Agency on Aging, CapTel, and Sunland HomeCare. For more information, go to SeniorExpos.com. That's SeniorExpos.com.
Arizona is rolling out the Voluntary Travel ID, which complies with the Federal Real ID Act. You'll need it for air travel and to access federal and military facilities. But there's no rush to get one. Your current driver license or ID is good until October 1st, 2020. The cost is $25 and it's valid for 8 years. To learn how to get your Voluntary Travel ID and the documents you'll need, visit azdot.gov/travel ID. Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
A Beautyrest Platinum mattress brings you innovative design and superior style. With Beautyrest Platinum, experience elegantly orchestrated sleep. Enjoy precision and control with the Beautyrest Platinum sleep system.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and if you're just tuning in, we're on our 4th segment. I got Scott Hawthornthwaite. He is the Director of Care Coordination for Area Agency on Aging, Region 1. Like I said, we're on our 4th segment. It's a rainy day here in Scottsdale, Arizona, coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park. I don't want to take up any more time. There's so much that you've got in terms of content, and we don't have that much time here in the 4th segment. You know what, Scott? I'm going to turn the mic over to you. I know that you talked about a number of different programs, and I would love for you to share that with our listening audience.
Good. Thank you, Bob. I'd like to highlight our Benefits Assistance Program. It's part of the SHIP, State Health Insurance Assistance Program. And what our program is a program that provides objective, unbiased information about Medicare benefits, Medicare Advantage plans, Part D, supplements, SSI, disability. It can be very complicated, like we were talking on the break, even for people in the business.
It is.
It's easy to get into the weeds. And it's difficult to find objective, unbiased information. You'll see ads on the TV that say call an 800 number, and I'm sure they're all fine folks, but they're working for an insurance company, and they're most likely going to present their plan first. We're not funded by any of the plans. What our job is to give people the full array of options so they can make an educated decision themselves. We can help people with SSI, with qualified Medicare beneficiary. Some people have private pay long-term care policies they don't understand. Any type of benefits issue, we're here for you. You can either call in to the area agency and make an appointment to come into the office or talk to a counselor on the phone. But even more importantly, there are 45 sites countywide where you can call and meet with a trained counselor to review your benefits.
And I'm looking at the pages. It's front and back, and you got 4 pages of locations.
It's all counties, all parts of the county, from Fountain Hills to Gila Bend.
Right.
And if you call in to the helpline, they'd be happy to either tell you the location or send you this list that has all 47 sites. These are all trained people with the only objective is to give you the information to make your own choice. I know some of our social workers have been out in the community. We talk to people about their prescriptions. Are you taking them as prescribed? If not, why? Many times it's because of the cost, or the formulary has changed that now they don't cover their prescription. Benefits Assistance has all of that information from all of the plans. We can put their medications in, and it can tell them there's another Part D plan that can save them significant money.
I would imagine that with open enrollment ending last month, you must have been
It was
slammed.
unbelievable, yes. And even now they're getting questions because people have questions about the decisions they made.
Right.
So
right.
it's twofold. But we're here every day to help folks, caregivers as well, understand the benefits for themselves or their loved one. So keep that in mind, our Benefits Assistance Program, and you can reach them by calling the Senior Helpline number.
You know, and talking about assistance program, you have an assistance for taxes too.
Yes, we don't do it, but we have agreements with an agency that does. And if you call our helpline, there's a listing of people that will help low-income seniors with their taxes.
Love it.
And now would be a good time rather than waiting till April 15th.
Exactly, and that's why I brought it up. I mean, we're already starting the new year. It's hard to believe. I got one more Friday for the month of January, and then we're into February 2017.
It goes fast. I wanted to highlight another program, too, and this is a big issue nationally and also here in Arizona, is Kinship Care, or grandparents raising grandchildren. They changed it recently to Kinship Care because sometimes it's an aunt or uncle or older sibling, and they were missing them in the message. But even if you're not raising your grandkids, you may be very much involved or concerned with their care. We are part of the Arizona Kinship Care Coalition. We fund a provider that does things that have things such as legal clinics. Sometimes people are dealing with the court or with CPS, or they might have guardianship issues. There's all kinds of socialization opportunities. They do a movie night. They do a picnic. They go down to the ballpark. They do so many things, not only just for the grandparents, but also so that the grandchildren know they're not the only person being raised by a 70-year-old person. I did talk to a 72-year-old a few weeks ago who has a third grader that she enrolled in school, and it's hard to believe she's doing it all again. But these are family members who step up to keep their children out of foster care, and for many reasons. It's nothing new in our culture.
No.
The reasons now tend to be more abuse and incarceration. But when I talk to a lot of folks in the community, they'll tell me, I was raised by my aunt or uncle or my grandparent. It's amazing just how many people are. But again, you're not alone. Even if you don't want to formally partake in the services, call us, get on the newsletter. Right. Find out that you're not the only one out there. And maybe that would help you then find something that fits your situation.
Love it. Love it. And those people, again, just like those support groups we talked about before, they think they're the only ones out there doing it alone.
That's exactly right.
And you know what? You're not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone, and there are resources out there to help you. There are.
And if you go to a support group or just even a formal coffee group, it's remarkable to hear your story from someone else.
Right.
When we're in a crisis, us humans tend to think no one's ever thought that. And it's quite enlightening to know that several people have thought that, and you aren't alone. Exactly. And so we're here for you. And if I can highlight one more program for you, and this is our Ombudsman Program. Ombudsman's not a word you hear very often.
No,
it's
you
a
don't.
Swedish word for negotiator. And our Ombudsman Program is funded through the Older Americans Act, and it's a free and confidential way for residents of skilled nursing facilities and assisted living homes to voice their concerns and have them addressed. We have specially trained advocates assigned to all of the skilled nursing facilities and assisted living facilities who are there to protect patients' rights. If you're in a facility, you may find yourself vulnerable or feel that you're vulnerable to make a complaint about care issues, or there's an issue about payment. It's nice to have a person who doesn't have a dog in the fight. We're not paid by the family, by the facility, or by the funder. We're just there to make sure the client's rights are being protected.
Facilitating, negotiating, making sure that, like you said, the vulnerable adult client is being protected.
Their rights are being protected and represented. Their desires are being represented. And even a person with advanced dementia, there are some decisions that they're able to make, and they can be included in the care plan.
You know, one of the things that, before we run out of time, I was curious, and I think I know the answer for the Area Agency on Aging is helping an individual with their wills and their directives, advanced directives and stuff like that. I'm assuming that that's something you do.
It is. If you contact our Senior Helpline, they can send you the forms or direct you to the Attorney General's website. Also, we fund the Senior Law Project, which is in Phoenix, and you can get that from our website as well.
And again, we keep talking about the websites, AAAPHX.org, or call the 24-hour Senior Helpline, and that's 602-264-4357.
We do fund the Arizona Senior Citizens Law Project, and that's a good place. They take intakes every Wednesday. You can get the number from us, and they work for us to help seniors with those issues.
And it's so important. We talk about this, that having that conversation, and family members sometimes don't have it, but if you're having a hard time having that conversation with a loved one, and you may need assistance, call Area Agency on Aging, because it is a difficult conversation, but we need to make sure we have these things memorialized. And when you can't speak for yourself, who is going to speak for you?
That's exactly right. And we've been doing this for a long time. We'll role play with you. Some people say, how can I go to a support group? How do I tell my mom that I'm stressed?
Right.
That's a difficult thing. So we role play and come up with some ways you can both, so everyone can feel good and you can get the help that you need.
Exactly. So we don't have much time to wrap up here, but I want to just have you leave a parting comment. We got a few seconds here. What would you like our listening audience to know?
That you're not alone, that there are services out there. There's people who care. There's people you can talk to on the phone or in your home at no cost who bring all of these programs and the knowledge of who to contact out to the home visit.
Scott Hawthornthwaite, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Bob.
Make it a great day. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Friday.
You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress HomeCare Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Join certified financial planner Nancy Fleming this and every Wednesday afternoon as she joins me for Financial Review. Nancy and I discuss an array of topics from Social Security, taxes, to what types of obstacles you can and will face in retirement. So join Nancy every Wednesday afternoon at 4:35 for the Financial Review. Want more, Nancy? Be sure to tune in every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for My Smart Retirement, right here on Money Radio.
Money Radio 1510
and 99.3 FM.
KFNN Mesa Phoenix and K257CD Phoenix. Can you stump the chumps on Business for Breakfast? If so, you might win a great prize. Listen Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at about 7:15. Right now, the Dow's up 60 points at 19,792. The NASDAQ up 8, 55.48, and the S&P is up 3 at 22.67.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin now.